Most men believe lasting longer in bed is about techniques, tricks, or secret physical hacks. But the truth is brutally simple. What controls your endurance is not your body, it's your mind. And no philosophy in human history understood this better than Stoicism. The Stoics taught that a man's power is measured by one thing: his mastery over himself. Not his pleasure, not his impulses, not his hunger for desire, but his ability to control the fire inside him. And when it comes to lasting longer during intimacy, almost every man struggles because he has lost control of his own mind. He is ruled by anxiety, fear, desire, dopamine, and pressure, and he collapses quickly because his mind collapses first. But if you learn to practice a few key Stoic disciplines, your stamina doesn't just improve a little, it increases massively, sometimes by hundreds of %, because you finally stop fighting your body and start mastering your thoughts. Today, you're going to learn exactly how Stoicism transforms a man's endurance, not with tricks, but with mental power that rewires your deepest responses. First, understand that pleasure is not the goal. Presence is. Most men rush, panic, and explode early because they are not present. Their minds are frantic, focused on the finish line, consumed by the fear of failing. The Stoics taught that a man becomes weak the moment he chases pleasure or fears loss. Endurance comes when you detach from the outcome and return to the moment. When you become present, your nervous system slows down, your breathing becomes deeper, your body stops rushing toward release. You stop being a slave to sensation, and you start controlling it. Presence alone can increase your stamina more than any physical technique ever will. Second, surrender the ego. Performance anxiety is your enemy. The biggest reason men can't last is not sensitivity, it's ego. The ego wants to impress. The ego wants to prove something. The ego wants validation. And the moment you try to perform, you stop being natural. Your brain goes into pressure mode. Your breath becomes shallow. Your heart races, your dopamine spikes, and suddenly, your control disappears. A Stoic man does not perform. He connects, he experiences, he leads, he breathes. When you kill the ego, your stamina rises instantly. Third, master the breath. The Stoic tool every man should use. The Stoics used breath work to remain calm in war, in conflict, in fear, in chaos. A man who controls his breath controls his body. And a man who controls his body controls his endurance. When your breathing slows, your arousal slows. When your breathing deepens, your mind stays focused. When your breath is steady, your body follows your command, not the other way around. Slow, deep, deliberate breathing can increase your control by extraordinary levels. It trains the body to stay calm under pressure. It trains the mind to stay focused under strong sensation. It gives you the ability to stay grounded while your body experiences intensity. This alone can multiply your stamina by massive percentages. Fourth, build discipline outside the bedroom. A man cannot be chaotic in his life and expect mastery in intimacy. Your habits shape your control. If you indulge in constant stimulation, scrolling, flashing videos, dopamine hits, your brain becomes trained for speed, not endurance. But the Stoic man trains for patience. He trains for presence. He trains for control. When you remove distractions, your mind becomes stronger. When you delay gratification, your stamina skyrockets. When you stop chasing dopamine all day, you regain authority over your impulses. Your brain becomes calmer, slower, more grounded, and this drastically increases how long you last. Fifth, reframe intimacy as connection, not a goal. When you treat intimacy like a race, you run. When you treat it like a performance, you panic. When you treat it like a test, you fail. But Stoicism teaches something different. The process is everything. The outcome is nothing. Endurance becomes effortless when you stop focusing on the end and start focusing on the connection. Feel the moment. Observe the sensation without chasing it. Slow down, lead the rhythm, guide the pace. Let your mind be still while your body moves. This is how a Stoic creates effortless stamina. not by force, but by intention. 6. Train the mind to separate sensation from reaction. Most men collapse because they experience a strong sensation and react instantly. The Stoics taught that the gap between stimulus and response is the key to power. When you feel intensity, don't panic. Pause, breathe, choose how you respond. This mental pause is everything. It breaks the automatic cycle. It gives you control. It tells your body, I decide what happens next. That psychological separation is what multiplies your endurance beyond what you thought was possible. 7th, accept that control comes from calm, not tension. The more you tense up, the faster you finish. The more you relax, the longer you last. This surprises most men. They think control means tightening their muscles and forcing themselves to hold back. But Stoicism teaches you the opposite. Tension destroys control. Calm creates it. When your body relaxes, your system slows down. When your shoulders loosen, your breath deepens. When your mind stops rushing, you gain dominance over your body. Relaxation is the secret weapon almost no man uses. 8th, practice the Stoic mindset daily. Stoicism is not something you use once. It's a way of living. The more you train your mind, the more control you gain everywhere, including in intimacy. A Stoic man is not a slave to urges. He is not ruled by desire. He is not thrown around by emotion. He is anchored. He is centered. He is deliberate. This mental strength gives him endurance that other men cannot imagine. Final message: lasting longer is a spiritual skill. What you think is a physical weakness is actually a mental one, and what you think is a bedroom problem is actually a life problem. When you master your impulses, your breath, your presence, your ego, and your mind, your endurance rises naturally, sometimes to levels that feel unreal. A Stoic doesn't chase pleasure. He controls it. He doesn't chase intensity. He guides it. He doesn't fear sensation. He observes it. This is how you last longer. This is how you gain mastery. This is how you rise above every man who lets his body control him. Do this and your stamina won't just improve. It may increase 900% or more, because your mind becomes your greatest strength. What most men never understand is that control in intimacy is not a skill you activate in one moment. It's a state of being, a way you live, breathe, think, and carry yourself. When you finished the first part, you learned that presence, breath, calmness, and detachment from the ego can transform your stamina. But there is a deeper layer, a level of inner mastery that most men never reach, because they spend their lives reacting, not leading, rushing, not grounding, chasing, not understanding. The Stoics believe that a man reveals his true strength in how he handles pleasure, just as much as how he handles pain. And this is where the real transformation begins, when you stop seeing intimacy as something separate from your life and start seeing it as a reflection of your entire inner world. A man who lives every day drowning in noise will find himself drowning in the bedroom. A man who lives tense, nervous, overstimulated, desperate for dopamine, will always rush toward release, because that is how he trained his mind. Your body responds exactly the same way you taught it to respond during your day. If your entire life is fast, chaotic, and overstimulated, your body becomes conditioned for speed, not depth. Stoicism teaches the opposite. It teaches that mastery comes from slowing the mind, not speeding it, from controlling impulses, not feeding them, from learning how to sit with sensations, emotional or physical, without letting them dominate you. When you begin to live this way, something powerful happens. Your nervous system becomes quieter, your breath becomes deeper, and the tension that once pushed you toward a quick release dissolves. The real reason a Stoic man lasts longer is because he carries no internal conflict. His mind isn't fighting itself. His emotions aren't attacking him. His thoughts aren't overwhelming him. He has trained himself to remain still, even while the world inside him moves. This stillness becomes the foundation of incredible stamina. When you enter intimacy with a calm mind and a relaxed body, Everything slows down naturally. You don't force anything. You don't rush anything. You simply guide the moment with intention, like a man completely in control of himself. There's another truth that most men avoid. Emotional tension is the silent killer of stamina. You think you're losing control because of physical pressure, but it's the emotional pressure underneath. The fear of not being enough, the fear of disappointing someone, the fear of losing control, the fear of being judged. The moment you carry these fears, your body reacts by speeding toward release to escape the pressure. But a Stoic man arrives with no fear, because he knows that no moment defines him, no outcome controls him, and no judgment can shake his foundation. This freedom creates effortless control. When your emotions are calm, your endurance stretches naturally without effort. You no longer fight your body, you guide it. You no longer panic at intensity, you observe it. You no longer chase pleasure, you flow with it. This shift from reaction to leadership is what multiplies your stamina far beyond what you believed possible. And then comes the most powerful transformation of all, the moment when intimacy becomes a form of meditation, not a performance. You're not rushing, you're not proving, you're not impressing, you're not chasing the finish line. You're simply present, breathing, guiding, grounding. Your partner feels it immediately. The steadiness, the confidence, the slowness, the depth. It's the energy of a man who is completely in charge of his inner world, and that kind of presence creates a rhythm that feels endless. When you reach this state, lasting longer is no longer something you try to do. It becomes the natural expression of who you are. A calm man lasts, a present man lasts, a grounded man lasts, a man who leads the moment lasts, a man who is not controlled by sensations, but who instead chooses how he responds to them lasts as long as he wants. And that is what Stoicism gives you. Not just more stamina, but a new identity. A man who no longer collapses under pressure. A man who no longer fears intensity. A man who no longer gets lost in desire. A man who remains centered, deliberate, and powerful, no matter what he feels. This is the continuation of the journey. This is the deeper layer of mastery. This is how you elevate your control far beyond what ordinary men can ever achieve.